I think either one would do.
Zami, I think most of the people on the call, if I'm not mistaken, are in inland. It may just be.
Yeah, but inland has not utilized the dashboard to the extent coastal has. So there might be some things that they won't see. But for intents of purposes, I'll use the inland one.
Okay, thanks.
Share my screen shortly. There we go. Okay. So as you land on the dashboard, what you'll see is you should see a map. You should see the legend as well. So this legend is dynamic. So if you zoom in and out, you'll see that the legend will change. If you're not sure what some things do mean, and you're not really interested in seeing certain layers, you can use this little lasagna looking icon over here to sort of toggle the layers on and off. That's just a generic map. You can click on the map, see what the features are, see the details and everything. That is fine. Most of the time, people will be using this dashboard is Jacksteam and the planners that are there. They use this to get all the notes that you guys have captured, all the NWRs that you've captured as well, the action, all of those, and you'll see it on here. This is the planning requests that have been placed on the map. And then these planning requests can be internal through this form over here, or external, being outside of the planning team, be it from a Vuma perspective. And ANO can also log a planning request. And then you have your different tabs over here, your list of NWIs, who's completed that NWI, the note that it refers to as well, your field notes. This is now from the field maps that all the technicians and ANOs have. And you've got three types of field notes. You've got a point, a line, and also a polygon. They should appear there, but most of the time we just use the points because the data and the information that we are capturing is normally related to a particular point on the Earth. So this is just a tally of the numbers of the different features that you see on your map. The field notes is 34, and is 77. There's nothing from the lines and the polygons. And then you've got your statuses of open and closed over here for the various types as well. And then you just got a breakdown here of the activities by month, by fiberhood, by requested by, etc. So I'm not going to dive too much into this dashboard over here. It's more of a functional dashboard, just to give a perspective of the landscape, how much things are, where we've got activity, etc., etc. I'll open now for questions, because this will be most likely a team-driven thing. You ask me the questions you'd like clarity in, because this is not the first session. So yeah, just think ready.
I'm here at Bloemfontein today, and I'm with the team from Beam Cities. Just bear in mind that some of them, it's the first time that they see this. So they just asked Bona, you want to put your question there quickly? So the thing is, I think we need to start at the beginning. I'm sitting here with some of my SDNs and they've opened their thing and the view that they are seeing, so that we don't even know, some of the people don't even know how to get to the dashboard, how to get to this view that you are showing. So we need to take it from the beginning. I mean, this is a training session. And yeah, so like Freddie mentioned, some of these guys haven't seen this at all. So we need to start from right at the beginning. So there will be first time users.
Who am I speaking to, Freddie?
It's Mornay Kutcher from Breitling.
Okay, Monet, I will be sharing the links to your teams. This is a link. You get the URL as you see in the top. It's a web-based platform. This should have been onboarded by your teams. So this was a task that was given to Rajesh and who else to onboard you guys. So you should have gotten your dashboards as well as your field maps links with your credentials as well.
With a password, so.
Yeah. So have you guys not done that yet?
No, I have shared it with him. Lisa myself shared it last week. Yeah.
Or was that just this week only?
Last week, Friday, Lisa.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, it was the 14th.
And are you saying that you guys don't know where to go once you've shared those links?
Yeah, so she opened, Nicole opened the link and it takes her to a completely different view. She also sees a map, but she only sees like a drop down on the left-hand side with bookmarks, but she's not seeing what you are seeing.
So you say you are seeing this map?
Sorry,
Yeah, she's only seeing this page.
So this is the master map. So this map is used for just navigating where the network is in its entirety. As you can see, if you click on the bookmarks, just take you to different cities that you can see on that bookmark there. This map is just used for the general person at Fullmetal. This one that I was at now, that is used for the planning maintenance team. So any changes requested by ANOs, requested through SDMs, anyone, instead of using the WhatsApp channels and all the other miscellaneous forms of communication, we're using this platform. So what this platform interacts with is this form over here. So this form can be accessed via web or the an app that you can download on your mobile device as well. But whatever you see on this map, that's been communicated via the BMCT teams or anyone at Fullmetal to the planning teams at Breitling to action and change. So are we all clear on that perspective where all of this information comes from? Don't worry too much of where it's stored and stuff. Just focus on how you communicate with the dashboard and what actions you do on the different platforms or collate to this map. So this link over here, I will drop this in the chat. You should be able to then, with the same credentials, log into this one. From that same one, how ArcGIS works is that if you just delete everything in front of the .com, it should just take you to the home page. If you're not too sure, if someone sent you the wrong link, someone sent you a link that takes you to somewhere where you're not sure, this is where you should all land. This is just the home page. In the home page, I've made it cleaner. You have two options. You have the dashboards or you have the master map. The master map is the one that you alluded to first, Monet and team. So it's this one. So same thing here. We can have another session discussing the master map and its generic use. But the one for today is this one over here, which is the one I'll take you to now. So if you land on this homepage, you won't see this editing icon here. You'll just see the landing page, Fullmetal's landing page. Content is over here, but what you'd probably be wanting to go to is the dashboard. So you can click on the word dashboard or on the icon dashboard, doesn't matter. It'll take you to the home dashboard. You won't see as much dashboards as I'm seeing over here. You'll then go on to the inland planning maintenance dashboard, which is this one. you only see one on your end, and you should land over here, which is in the dashboard. Cool. So over here, this is more for the planning team. As I mentioned before, there is a second dashboard that you most likely, your SDMs most likely used more than this one. But I'll explain that maybe to the tail end once I'm finished with this. And then, yeah, as I mentioned before, just going through it, just how you navigate through this is you just got your checklist here that you can filter. So every little thing that's over here filters this entire map. You've got your tables and everything. I won't go into much in detail here because what will make sense for everybody on the call here is how you as the user interacts with this map from a field perspective. Cool. What I want to do now, I want to jump into the field maps. And then what I'll do is that I'll also then just jump back into this dashboard over here again. Just a point of reference. I'm not sure if Monet, if you know, do you guys and your IT team, do you work closely? Are they able? Is your team able to download apps on their Mint devices?
Yeah, no, everything is sorted there.
Okay. Cool. So let me jump quickly onto my mobile device. Cool. While I quickly just switch over. Any questions on this dashboard as it stands now? Did it bring a bit more clarity, Monet and team? And then just while I wait for this, are you guys actively doing preventative maintenance currently?
Yes.
Okay. So then I'll also touch base on the preventative dashboard as well.
Zimmy, just while you're waiting there, what is the base of this? I had a quick chat with Jack earlier on, and he said to me that the ArcGIS, I think any changes that you make in the field on the field maps is on ArcGIS, but then you have to send it. Well, you basically log it, and then it goes back to the planner who has to change it on 3GIS. That's
correct,
the way I understand it. Okay, so yeah, we actually have a meeting with Esri and the ArcGIS team tomorrow, with the view of possibly putting. Sorry, I don't want to take us off topic. Putting the build plans, everything that we're building now, onto ArcGIS, and then when the PMs on site make any changes, then they indicate it on ArcGIS, and they can send back that revision or that change to the planner. But this is now the build planner, not the maintenance planner. And then they can make the changes there. And at the end of the day, you don't need to make any, any red line. Well, that would typically be like your red line, your updates of the map. Then we don't have to digitize it afterwards, because then it's typically digitized, except it's not in 3GIS. It's only up to ArcGIS level.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, that'll be a great initiative, but the only issue is that schema needs to match whatever current schema that we have, if your intention is to deploy it within this current financial year.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
Sorry,
So, yes, Lisa?
sorry, just on that, Zimmy, is that not is can we not maybe do something like that with our platforms that we currently have?
We could, but the only issue is that we've got license restrictions. So if it's for all the maintenance planners, that'll mean that all of your planners need to get ArcGIS Pro, so they can make edits on whatever live data you have on your web instance of ArcGIS.
Oh, okay. I get you.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
Thanks.
Pro licenses start at 60,000 Rand a pop. So yeah, I'm not quite sure why this thing is not taking long. It's now kicked me out of this. Okay, let me do something. Let me actually just jump straight into the planning request table, which is something that you'll most likely also use on a day-to-day. Okay, just on that, David, is that initiative just for BMCT?
Well, yeah, with this whole build rollout that's going to happen, we need to do things a lot faster.
David, you are muted.
I think you're muted. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're muted.
Sorry.
Something happened.
Yeah, no, it's yes, I mean, well, everybody that's doing bold work for BMCT, it would be nice if we could do the whole thing on that. So at the moment, there's a lot of sticking in terms of, the handover process from planning to build to maintenance planning. Yeah,
Okay, let me just quickly I'm just clearing this dashboard over here. Cool. So this is the inland dashboard. All of these that you see over here is a map. So similar maps throughout that you'll see. Same layouts, same colors that you see. The pink is just obviously our network and the extent of our network. And as you zoom in, you'll start seeing more detail. That's something I didn't touch on. So if you're just panning on the map, you'll see more detail as you zoom in up until you get to the premise level, which you should see premise points pop up. And these are the same premise points that you'll find on our Salesforce. I'm sure some of you won't have access to Salesforce, but that'll be similar views that someone internally will see. And if you're working on finding an address, you can also search these addresses on this map as well. So if I zoom out a bit as well, you'll see that this now table has disappeared because it zooms to the extent of that map. So you'll see here that you've got a list of things. These are items that have been marked by a preventative team or environmentals team. You've got a category, it's categorized by the element. So it's a building being a physical building, an MDU, etc. To distribution, street cabinets, humanals, the list goes on. And it's got a total counter of how many assets have been marked. And then you've got a condition grading of good and poor. And then there's a third category called fair. So these are the conditions that you can then filter on and filter the map. And then it's the duty of the SDMs to ensure that all of these things are run through the process of being opened, remediated, and checked. So if it's open and remediated and checked, so there should be then pictures within those preventative tickets. So it's a manual, there's a picture there. There should be a before and after. This is clearly someone running a test because it's a cup on a desk. And then once that has happened, it'll go to close out and then closed. So it is then the duty of whoever is running with this in its various regions to ensure that all their tickets that have been opened within a month, if your SLA is to close them out within that calendar month, this allows you to do that. And then within the same dashboard, you can then create polygons, or what you call it, survey polygons, which run on this tracker over here. So if you isolate that you want to start surveying Bonomi, and you're going to cut it up into zones, and then you can put those polygons up, and then those polygons will track over here, and they call them block inspections. And then it'll go from opened and closed. So once you've surveyed the entire block and you've marked what you need to mark, you can then close it out, and then it'll move to close. So you can track your survey projects over here as well, and also track the current field notes that you're getting from the teams on the ground. So any field note that gets plotted on here via your app, that Field Maps app, if it gets marked that it's plan affecting, it then will move to the other dashboard that I showed you, this dashboard over here. And that's what these little yellow dots here are showing, all the plan affecting field notes. Any questions thus far? Jack, you have your hand up.
Yeah, Zimmy, so
Not sure if it's before or...
Yeah, no, it's that I'll just put it up just before you. So just to clarify, at this current moment, the Field Maps app, you cannot put changes in there. You put notes, and you need to click a button that says, this is a planning affecting note that I've put up, and that will then go into the planning dashboard for the maintenance planners to see.
Correct.
Cool.
So
Okay,
for data integrity, and because our FMS is a different platform as to the ArcGIS, you never want to allow the entire world to be able to move and edit features
Correct.
on a map, right?
Yes.
We might get to, when we're comfortable with everybody's expertise on it, we might get to a level where we allow the technicians to be able to move infrastructure and assets on the map. But it will also go through a vetting system, which means that your teams will have to now vet all of those changes that they've received. But currently, this is you drive it out, you see, oh, okay, you've got an NWI somewhere, then you notice, oh, this is a manhole that's on the map, but it's on the wrong location. It's moved on the other side of the road. You plot that down to say, okay, this manhole's on the other side of the road. You driving down, you see there's a slack bin that's missing from a pole, the joint's standing. You take a picture, damage, joint, all of that stuff goes in here. It's not your, you won't be able to go in and then add a joint.
Yeah.
And then say that it's on the pole, which is it's not what it's for. It's for us to be able to plot changes, plot things that are on. If you are, let's for example zoom in here. If you say that the street cabinet is not there, or the street cabinet is damaged, if it's damaged, and then that's environmentals. If you're saying that it's moved, it's not there, it's probably there, and then that's a plan change.
Correct.
Cool. So let me try again and jump into this. Any other questions from all the other regions and teams? Seeing that you're seeing it for the first time.
Yeah, from my side,
ready?
Zimmy, let's say I've had an NWI, and I have decided to shorten the distance for cable replacement, and now I add in additional pole and access box. How would we go about that then?
Yes, I'll show that on the phone. As soon as this phone just allows it was working before this meeting. I'm not sure why it's decided to act up now. So what you'll do is that you'll go on the app, on that Field Maps app. You'll plot down a pole, to say new pole, and then what you'll do then secondly is that you'll then add a note to say that added pole, whatever the name of the pole may be. Maybe if it's unknown name, you can leave it as an unknown name now. The planning teams will just need to consult you on what the naming convention will be at a later stage. And then, yeah, if you're dropping a joint as well, you can put down a joint. It allows you to put down a joint. And you can just put in your bill of materials on there as well. Similarly, if you are using the, the NWI dashboard, which the Vuma TAL ANOs are currently using, they will plot down all of those bill of materials that you have just mentioned now for your NWI. So that's also something that you guys need to make note of. When you are facing an NWI, it's best to just allow the in-house Vuma TAL team to handle and sign off that NWI through their dashboard. That also goes to this main this main planning dashboard with these little gray larger stickers. So those are all the NWIs that happen. So don't duplicate a field node and an NWI. Just to save you guys some admin there. So that's something to bear in mind. Yeah, I see 2 hands up, Jack and Sydney.
I think Sydney was first, yeah.
Yes, Sydney, you can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. You guys hear me clear?
I can hear you. Can you ask?
Yes, I can hear you. So I just want to ask regarding the areas in at AE fiberhoods.
Yeah.
So I don't know if on your site you guys have already digitized those AE areas. I'm asking this because I happened to be with John Fox on Friday.
Yes.
So, and some of the area network owners. I asked them, I heard this a process they are busy, I think in Central in Ekurhuleni, but Central they've already started. The process of changing the street cabinet, removing street cabinet in the, with the huge joint. So for that, they said the reason is to remove, reduce a lot of hands on the network, and then safety, and to avoid vandalism. So I'm asking if, as you guys have already started to digitize, how is this going to affect your process?
It won't affect the process. So any changes that need to happen are just made from the digitization team. If you're talking about moving joints after the fact, so let's say in month 1 of digitization, they digitize according to a plan, but in real fact that for example that street cabinet is not in the place that it should be, it's in another place. So that just goes and gets handled by the digitization team. So I think you probably will fall part of that team or that scope of team, Sydney.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the question was simply that they're just removing, not like actually everything's changing on the net. They're just removing the street cabinet. And then
they're moving it or removing it?
Yeah, they are busy in some areas. I think Jack can also add on this.
Yeah, it's just it's the AG drops, Zim. So it's sort of like the remediation project, the NWU, but they just dropping the AG. So they're taking the street cabinet away and putting a VUDC in the manhole. Yes. So it's not going to influence the process at all. It's if it's been digitized, then they will find it on Field Maps app. If it's not, they won't find it there. That's the short answer.
So yeah, so there won't be every time something changes. For example, if I'm zooming in on the map right now, if something changes on the map, for example, let me actually just move where there's actually infrastructure. If there's infrastructure change on the map, it's not going to send out a note to everyone to say that there's a manhole being added. No, things will change as per how this whole thing is structured, that there is constant evolution of the network through your guys' participation and changes. So when things change, like street cap being removed and D being added, from a infrastructure and inventory perspective, it's a like-for-like change. It's just the type of street distribution cabinet that you're going to change it here on the FMS, which is the file management system. You're just going to say underground DUDC. So that's the only thing that changes. Otherwise, splicing will relatively remain the same. The amount of panels might change, but relatively should all stay the same. If panels change, you then just amend those panels, but the cables stay the same, ducts stay the same. You're changing now from having one manhole to two manholes, and that's all. But everything else should remain the same. I hope that answers your question there, Sydney.
Yeah,
Or a fear. Was it a fear more than a question?
Yeah, it is was both now. I'm answered now.
Okay, cool. Okay, I've finally been able to just jump in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into the field maps. Is everybody any other questions on these two dashboards?
Sorry,
Yes.
Hans, what I wanted to say before Sydney asked this question is that we should stick to the NWI process with where the Vuma ANOs log it on the NWI
Correct.
permissions, or is it permissions or approvals, and then tick the box that it's planning affecting. That will create a automatic ticket. I don't think we should do anything on the NWI on the Field Maps app.
No, that's what I said, that you should let the NWI process take its course, which is run by the internal Vuma ANOs. And then any field notes like preventatives and etc., that gets done by BMCT staff, seeing that you guys are mostly in field. But nothing stops an ANO from also creating a field note. So just making that distinction.
100%.
Cool. I'm going to share the screen quickly, or I'll share the mobile device, not the screen. And then what I will then show you, I'll just run through what the app looks like. Cool. So I'm now currently on the mobile device. And then if I just jump over here, you should, where is it? Yeah. This is the plethora of apps that Esri allows you to download. If you don't have this app, please let me know. You probably need to get in contact with your IT team. Okay, ask me to sign in. Yes, cool. So you should then land on the sign-in page. If it asks you to sign in, you just sign in the credentials that I provided. Let me just go one step back. You won't see all of these maps, but you should see the inland field maps. You just click on the map. Let me just go back one step. Just because sometimes people log on to the app and then they maybe log on a day or two later. It's good practice to always click the little 3 dots on the left there, and then it just allows you just to refresh the map. So any cookies and cache that you do have in the background will be loaded. It will just request the server and the map for any changes that you might not have on your device. It will also automatically do it once you're in the map as well, but just to give your device a bit of a fresh start when panning through the map. And then as you can see, if I pan to the map, you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing, what you saw on the dashboard. And as you pan through, I'll just wait for the lag and the resolution to sort of filter there. You're seeing all the same assets. So this is basically your network in your pocket, basically. Everything that you're seeing on the map, you should be able to then see over here. I'll just cancel that. Okay, let's just go out there. Let's just go back to Joburg. Yeah, just cancel. So yeah, so that's also one thing there. Let me just take you through the map itself before I just pan to stop. The back icon on the top left over there is just to go back. The lasagna looking icon is to take you through all the layers. It's also best practice to also just ensure that all your layers are on, because I've heard from a lot of people that they're saying, oh, I can't see manuals because your manual layers are switched off. And also, yeah, just another thing with your layers, if you see the little blue icon on the left of each layer, it allows you to filter a certain field. So here you can filter by your technician name. Cool. And then in other fields, yeah, that's the only two ones that allow you to filter there. And then you can also search a location, like you can only search an address. You can also search a address in Salesforce, or you can also search a location reference that you get from Salesforce premises as well. Cool. And then this is just your options, the three little dots on the far right. That's your options. So you can then change your base maps if you want to change your base map, add a bookmark if you want to add a bookmark. But these traditional bookmarks are just the default extent bookmark. It's nothing majorly there. And then this option of mockups is basically if you want to communicate something to someone, maybe you want to communicate that there's probably, just undo that, just delete that there. If you want to just indicate to someone that there's maybe roadworks that are being planned at this location over here, you can just encircle that and then make a note. It's not necessarily a change in our infrastructure. It's just a means of communicating to fellow app users as well. So you can then, once you've added a name to this label, to say city roadworks or something, and let's just make a name here so we can just close it out. You can then share this with a team member as well. So you can go over here to the three ellipses on your far right, and then you can share this over WhatsApp. And whoever opens it will be taken directly to where you've made that markup. And it also opens up their field maps map as well. I'll just clear everything here because I don't want that. Let me just zoom over to Joba quickly. Go out of this, clear all, go out. It's important, if you are in mockups, you'll see this little mockup at the header. To get out of there, just click with the X icon. You'll be out of mockups. You'll see now it'll be blank. You won't be in mockups anymore. And whenever you pan and use your fingers on the map, you won't be drawing icons and things again like I just did now. So yeah, as I was mentioning before, if you say zooming into the map, you see that there's maybe roadworks or there's a manual that needs to be changed. Let me just zoom to a particular route over here. See, currently there's a manual there. Let's say there's two manuals and maybe there's a third manual somewhere in this picture over here. So, but there's two things that you can do. You can click and hold on the map, right? And then it'll ask you, do you want to collect over here? That's the one thing. And then you can say, yes, I want to collect over here. And it'll ask you what you want to do. I want to put in a new note, point note, and then you are taken to the form. That's the one way. I'll go through the form shortly. You discard, or you can press at the bottom over there on the bottom right, that blue plus icon. You can click the blue plus icon, takes you to the same form. And then you click, I want to add. So if I just pull down anywhere on the form, I'm not clicking on the form, I'm just pulling down on the form to expose the map again. If you hover over any asset, you'll see there's a orange little dot that appears. That's just the platform just wanting to snap to features that exist on the map. So it's always good practice to always snap to a point, meaning a manual, or always snapping to a line, being a vertice on that fiber cable. So let's say I wanted to add, this is a fictitious manual, I wanted to add a manual over there, over that crossing. And then I'll say I want to add a point. And then I'll pull up the form there over there. And then I can then click on the take a picture button if you want to take a picture, just for evidence sake. And what you'll do, you'll see that there are grayed out fields. So it's already picked up that that's Vit Coupon. That's already the fiber is already placed for you. You obviously place BMCT. Here it's now just giving you a place marker. So your technician name being your name. I won't say John Newton. I'll place my name. over there. And then once you've gone and placed your credentials and information such as this, you will be then asked to go through and complete all the asterisk out field notes. So is this a scheduled change? You can say no, this is just plain preventatives. And then yeah, so if it does this, so all you need to do is just to move this thing again, snap, place on the map, that will refresh on its own. And then what you can do, if this is a change number, which is if it's a scheduled change, you'll place the change number there, which is this is not a scheduled change. This is just a note. And then you've got the field note details over here. So now your field note details is this an asset replacement? No, it's not an asset replacement. You can either click no or leave it blank. You can go the infrastructure type to manual. Condition, it's just good because you're adding a field note. And then what you are now requesting is you're requesting a plan/route change because you're adding a new infrastructure. And then you can add the new manhole or /missed by planning. And then once that's done, you can say it requires a plan change. Yes, it does. And then you can hit submit. And what I'll do is just add a point over there. That point is over there. And then there's all your credentials, manual, and then you hit on the tick at the top right. You'll see that it'll just say processing, and then it'll then say submitted. So if you click on that field note within your map extent, it allows you to see all the information that you've just entered here. This is also then a link to that street view on the map. And then say you had an issue, you've entered the wrong information. Just click on that point again, click on the point, it then gives you the options at the bottom. So that the first option from your left is that pen icon. You can then click it. Now opens up that same information that you did. So just remember this little number that you see over here, that 10 to 100, that's just a ID number for that field note. It gets automatically generated. You don't have to worry about entering that. And let's say maybe it was the wrong thing. It wasn't a manual, it was a handle. You can go click there on manual, and then you can just go and okay, there is no handle type. Manuals and handles are the same thing. Oh, there's it, handhold. And then you can change that asset type to a handhold, an access box, and then you can then click submit at the top right again. And all that's done is just change that one field that you needed amending to that required field. Any questions on the map and things that you see on this current map as well? Let me just close over there with the X.
Once they've click the plan affecting button and they click submit, where does that ticket now come into the planning dash?
It will go exactly where you'll see it. So I'll do something for you guys. What's here? And then you say this. What I'll do now is I'll make a copy all, right? It'll only give you one selection. If I go across on this map, right, I want to make two identical copies. Say update point, because I want to update that point. And you'll see that everything that I have over here is exactly the same as previously. The only thing that I want to change now, I want to say it's not plan affecting, right? And then I want to click submit. It's going to create those two nodes for us. So now what I want to do is that I want to jump back onto the dashboard. Before I jump back into the dashboard, any questions? So I'm answering your question, Jack.
100%.
Allow any other question before I jump back to the dashboard related to this map and what they see, because this is what you're going to also see when you open up your mobile device and you open up the app. So if you're not sure where you need to be on the map, maybe it hasn't zoomed to your extent, there is the crosshairs at the top right. the white top right, you'll see there, if you tap on that, it'll take you to your exact location in the world. And then also, for example, if you do need to maybe direct someone to somewhere, you can always tap on any element. Let's say this man over here. And then there is an option over here on the options to say directions. And what it'll do to open up your Google Maps. And then it'll start now routing you to that exact location. Or you can also, like Google Maps allows you to do, you can then share those directions with a team member or someone. Cool. So I'm going to jump back now into the dashboard itself. So I'm going to first jump back in. Yeah, so now it's starting to direct you. Cool, I'm going to jump into my dashboard again. Cool, can you guys see the dashboard?
Yes.
So cool, this is the maintenance dashboard, right? So this is what Jackson will see. And any new maintenance planning ticket will pop up over there. And what I want to do for you now is to jump onto the planning request. So if you jump onto the map full extent, you just, if you don't know what has been filtered here, maybe you forgot, you just click on this refresh extent over here. You'll see on your table, it'll filter the newest to the oldest. So these are the two new ones that you see on your map. If I zoom to them over there, there's the two new planning requests. So not there. There's the two new not planning requests, the two new field notes that are in my field notes dashboard. So these are the preventative stuff that needs to happen. So the SDN can come on here and say, okay, let's see what needs to happen over here. Okay, they've entered the details. They've entered the asset that they are looking at. Okay, what the condition is good and the type. Okay, it's a plan change, so that's nothing they need to action. That goes over to the team, what you call it, the planning team. So they can just go over here and then instead of clicking new, they can just leave it as open for the planning team. So anyone in the planning team, once they've actioned this and they've closed this out, will then mark it as closed. So going over now to the your dashboard. So this is now your maintenance dashboard. And if you can see over there, there's your one new field note. The other one is not new.
Yeah, it's just lagging a bit, so I didn't see where you went to physics. So I'll switch on my dash now and there's nothing. So I want to go and see the new field notes that's planning effecting. Where do I physically go? It's lagging a lot, so I cannot physically see your cursor.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So this is the field notes that are currently open. So you just go to the field notes over there.
Okay, so I go to field notes
points.
Right, okay.
Exactly. And then this is the list of field notes that are currently open. Right? You'll also see field notes over here as well. So any field notes that you do see will appear here. The count will also go up. So this should just go to 0. And then, yeah. So this also allows you to scroll through all the field notes. And then a good practice is what I want to say is this.
Do you have to scroll through them to find the planning effecting ones?
No. So you can just go to the little pie chart over here. You click on the ones that saying that are they complete or captured. You can click on the ones that says no. Or in this case, they won't have any value. And then you can click on the no value and there's all the field notes that you can go around through. And what the good practice is that every field note that gets onto this list, you should action it. Because what normally happens is that the list becomes long and then it just becomes an ornament where it's not being looked at. So all of these need to then be either closed out or mentioned that they are not plan change, they're not plan affecting, which this one someone is saying that there's new STU and a manual to be placed. So yeah, so that's how you go through them, and you'll see the difference. The ones will say yes and others will say no. So then you can then list through the various types of plan changes that are there. So just to answer any other questions from the PMCT side, your plan notes will always line up here. So you can just look on this table. It'll always list them from oldest to newest, or newest to oldest. If your map looks a bit different, you've zoomed in, as I mentioned before, on all the dashboards, you'll have this reset icon that you can press. It'll just reset it to default extents. Everything that was filtered will then be unfiltered, and you can then just be able to scroll through and ensure that all your tickets or field notes are then closed out. So a good tracker every month, or maybe every week, that you have a catch up with your teams to ensure that anything that's been placed on you goes through and closed out in time. Cool. Any questions thus far? Is it a bit more clear on what the two platforms are for? And I'll just reiterate again that this one is for field notes. So that app that you all downloaded, that blue app, its first landing spot is over here. This is where also your SDMs and your desktop teams will manage all the tickets that have been processed and captured by the various teams on site. You'll then be able to then triage and filter out different things. You can also filter out a province if you're working on a particular province. You can also then date it out to say, okay, in a particular date, I'm looking at those tickets. You can also filter it by technician. For example, I did 2 there. There's about 39 that are no technician names. And then you can also filter it by Firebook. So you can then see where most of your tickets are and sort of better illustrator management or Exco where attention is needed. And then secondly, I've noted your hand, David. And then secondly, that's a coastal one. This is the inland one. This dashboard is solely for plan maintenance teams. Any ticket or field note that you've captured on field that needs the attention of the team will land up on this dashboard. Jack's team have been trained up on how to use this as well. Cool. Yes, Jack. Not Jack, sorry, David.
So effectively, if I understand it correctly, there's 2 platforms. There's ArcGIS and there's 3GIS. Okay. This is ArcGIS, what we're seeing here, and the technician is going to indicate the change that needs to be made on ArcGIS, and then it gets logged as a ticket, and the maintenance planner picks up the ticket and changes it on. Does the maintenance planner change it on ArcGIS and 3GIS, or how does that work? Because now if you change it on 3GIS, it has to revert back to ArcGIS to update here again for the next maintenance technician that's going to maybe put some other comment on the same position.
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand how that works.
To clarify it for you, all of the cadastre that you see over here, the maps that you see over here, that all comes from the 3GIS. So the FMS, so where we manage our fiber, we manage our inventory. So all these dots aren't digitized in ArcGIS. They're all digitized on the FMS.
Okay.
So this is where that information is pulling through. So if
yeah, that makes sense.
So are you seeing now 3GIS? This is what 3GIS looks like. If I change anything on here, so I delete maybe this pole over here, if I zoom in and it clarifies, If I delete the pole over here, it'll then update that map and that pole will be deleted on this map. So no one touches any inventory on here. This is merely basically, to dumbify it down, would be a ticket managing platform, but it just leverages the maps that we have so that you can see exactly where that asset is and that you have a holistic picture of where that change should be.
Okay.
So all the
Okay, so this-
requests pile
Yeah,
up
yeah,
into this
sorry.
request table over here. So all the requests pile up into this request table over here, and it gets requested by request type, who requested it, the subject, the information of the request, and etc. Closeout date and when it was opened, when it was closed, and also the partner and the ANO that request that change. So that's all get captured over here. And then similarly, the team can then go into 3GIS and then make that change. But what they can then do is then they just manage that ticket through the map, and also they can then capture their own tickets of any other changes that it comes through.
Okay, no, that's cool. Now, okay, all right. Okay, so just from, say for example, now, okay, now I'm gonna change the subject totally. No, so it's fine. Thank you very much. I understand that.
Say it might then trigger another question for someone else.
Just referring back to what I was explaining, our plan was to do all like the planning on ArcGIS, but then ArcGIS is effectively reflecting what 3GIS is reflecting here, because the planning is on Arc and not on 3GIS. So we're using ArcGIS as a platform instead of 3GIS, if that makes sense.
I'm not following the question.
So
Is your questions, will it interfere or is it going to be the same?
yeah, so in other words, if we do the planning on the ArcGIS platform, then we won't be seeing the 3GIS. We'll be seeing the information as you see it here on the screen with all the green lines where the routes are running. But we won't be seeing the 3GIS tab. We'll only be seeing the map with the layer of ArcGIS planned on it, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to figure out, but I'll have the discussion tomorrow with the Esri guys.
Who are you discussing it with at Esri?
What's his name? Tyler.
Tyler, okay.
Yeah.
Tyler's getting a lot of business from us, eh? Yeah, just discuss it out in the grander scheme of things, meaning just align yourself with what the massive group will be doing when it comes to FMSs and ArcGIS.
100%. Yeah, so you're talking Marlin now going forward.
Yeah, because remember, it all in the background is the same platform. So if you want to see
Right.
the 3GIS layers, you are more than it's more than capable of doing it. That's an easy thing.
Okay.
If you want it to be an all-rounder, meaning that you can create planning stuff and then post planning things to Marlin, being where the FMS is going to be, then you'd then be looking at then just adopting Marlin directly, because then you're all in one ecosystem, and you're not taking one data from your database and then posting it to another database, and then having that database collate, get your relative foreign IDs, and then post it back to your database so that your team works on the most current revisions of work. They will then recommend that you just then maybe adopt Marlin as your planning platform, because it can do both, manage the asset and plan.
Okay. Yeah, definitely something to consider. We'll check that. Okay, thanks.
Cool. It's just to minimize the amount of data silos that you do create, because it's to create a lot of pipelines across data. It's going to be a nightmare, and also going to be more costly from a deployment perspective. And then also from if a systems perspective, if anything goes wrong on the one, it'll affect the other.
100%. No, understood. Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions from anyone else? Is there something that they need to see again that I can touch base on?
Zimi, I don't know if you can see my hand, but yeah, I just want to clarify.
Sorry, I didn't see it.
Yeah, that the field note points that the guys will put on and click the yes button that it's planning effecting will not create an automatic planning ticket in the dashboard. So
No,
if a
no.
planner
It'll
goes
create the
into the
planning
field
point.
maps and he goes and he does something, he will have to go and create his own ticket in the capture form for us to track that. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to clarify that. That's not, you're not going to
Yeah.
find automatic tickets. You're going to have to go into the field maps tab and then go and find the newer
Yeah.
ones that says planning effective. So yeah,
Correct.
just for the planners to take note that you're not going to get something automatically on email. You're going to have to manage this, either how you're going to do it daily, weekly. And I would suggest that if the guys start using it in the regions, that we notify the guys via the groups that or whatever that I've added a field note with a planning change.
You don't need to do that. The field note will appear on your dashboard as I showed you. The only thing that you'll need to do is, for example, if there's a maintenance change. So let me just show you this thing, this diagram over here. So say you've created your plan change, right? And that's from the dashboard itself. You are the planner. You've created this plan change. Fill out the form. Does it need A&O approval? Yes or no? You'll then, if it doesn't, right? You won't fill out the A&O approval, and then you just action the thing and you complete out the form yourself, being the planner. Then there's the second step where it's a maintenance request. So the maintenance person will fill out the form, right? I will share the link to the actual survey itself. So it's a different app. I don't know if you noticed on my mobile device when I opened up my ArcGIS, I had a few a few tabs or a few apps there. One of them is the survey app that all of these surveys get captured on. You can share that survey tab to anyone that will require a field note. So not a field note, a plan change. A plan change is from outside of the scope of an A&O or a technician.
Yeah.
A technician, they just use their field maps that they find. They don't need to then still go log a ticket for you.
Yeah,
Anyone else in the business, maybe David sees a note that he wants to, he can then use the survey app itself. Cool. So just going from there, the survey app that will get created, they fill out the form. If it needs an A&O's approval, they'll fill out their A&O STM's name in the name field. Then an email gets sent out to that particular person. And then once it's approved or by that person will get an email. It'll tell them, please go see your dashboard. You've got a field note there. They'll open up that field note, they approve it or decline it, and then the planner completes that action by closing out the ticket and actioning what needs to be done by that planner. So the entire loop, same thing for an NWI. An NWI has its own ticket. You don't need to then create a planning ticket. But say through various reasons and explanations, we do need to create a ticket. It's the same flow for the ticket as well. And then just an overall data flow for all the things is that it all correlates within that dashboard. So from the maintenance request, goes to the dashboard, it gets ticketed out. And then if it needs a response from the ANO, it will send out an email that the ANO then go back to the dashboard to approve or comment on that ticket that was created for them, and vice versa for the planning request. So that's just an overview of how the data flows from just a ticket being created to an email being sent out, and then that relevant person answering the email, and then just going on the dashboard and then just completing out that form instead of maybe sending out a WhatsApp. Maybe they missed a WhatsApp, or sending out an email with no links and no relevant information outside of there. The dashboard will send out the email for you. That relative individual just need to answer the emails. You'll also find it if, let's say, for example, I send you yourself, Jack, that ticket. I'll also see that email being sent out in my outbox as well. So in my sent mails, I'll go there to my sent mails. 3 or 4 days, I see that you haven't actioned anything. I can just follow up via my emails on that one.
Okay.
Cool. Let me close this one out. And then this is just a basic overview of all the apps, and in the planning sphere, what apps are being used by planning, what apps are being used by maintenance, and then what apps are being used by the partner. And being the partner, that's BMCT. So it just shows you the data flow between the two. This is where basically the fundamental layers lie. So this is where the editing happens. So mainly BMCT and Vumetal planning will have access to be changing the data layers, being now the manuals, the ducts, the splicing, all of that stuff. So you'll see here what that entails there. And then those apps will speak to your field maps. So anyone else that's using those maps can then see a live feed view. So any change that happens in 3JS, those changes happen in real time in that field maps app that you have on your phone. So if you are working closely with the Vumetal teams and you say that you need a plan change or you make a field note, and maybe they are on the ball with things, you might even see that change within the same time frame. And then secondly, this is that 3JS, sorry, that NWI sign off that the ANOs use. That sign off goes straight to its own designated dashboard. That dashboard is managed by the ANOs themselves and the RNOs. They have a sign off. They sign off all NWIs that gets archived for auditing purposes at the end of the financial year. And then there is the planning note survey as well. That's for all the planning note tickets. And then all the dashboards are basically where all this data and apps sort of speak to, and where supervisors, team leads, and managers sort of have a view of what their teams are currently doing and interacting with the different apps in the FMS. Cool. I've seen there's something on the chat. Okay. Cool. I think, yeah, Lisa, you'll probably have to share that recording or maybe download it, open up the link for everyone once the recording is concluded. Cool. That's also just an overview of how the data flows and how the process flows between all the apps. And then, yeah, I think don't want to overwhelm anyone with all the different apps, but it's just, you just need to start using them. I think more questions will come up once you start using them. And then, yeah, any bugs or issues, Jack, you're more than just welcome to send the team the issue ticketing link, and then they can just log a ticket on there. And yeah, we can just get to those things. Cool.
Sorry, Zim, you broke up there. What link do you want me to send?
The bug ticketing link. So if anyone encounters a bug or there's an issue with the app, they can send out that link.
Yeah, okay. I'll contact you after the meeting. Thanks.
Let me see something. Cool. Anything else from anyone? If you guys still have access to the chat, I'll just post it in the chat in case you miss it.
Yeah, we don't even have access to the chat after the meeting closes. I mean, that's a thing that I've tried to take up with our IT. I'm still meaning to maybe see if I can sort that out with anybody else in the group's IT. But whenever somebody else creates a meeting from outside BMCT, once that meeting is closed, we cannot access the chat. We cannot access the recordings or the transcripts or anything. It just says that you are not part of the organization.
Wow. Okay. And then I'll just post it in the email sent out for this meeting request.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Cool. And if there's nothing else, then yeah, feel free to send me an email if you do get stuck. And then I think, yeah, you guys can chat maybe Freddie or Lisa. They're also capable of assisting you.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Zimi.
Thanks, Demi.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lisa, for setting it up.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Moving.
Okay. Cheers, everyone.